Good morning. It's absolutely bitterly cold outside. So of course I've got up at stupid o'clock in the morning to come up into the mountains of the Isle of Man to get a sunrise picture. Of course I have. It is really freezing outside, but the Isle of Man's quite a mild place generally, so we haven't got anywhere near as much snow and ice as the UK has received recently. The only place on the island that still has a little bit of snow is the very tops of the highest mountains. So I'm going to hike up into the mountains to try and make the most of this very limited window of wintry weather that we've got. I mean, it could already be gone. I can't see outside, so there could be no snow and ice there already. So I have travelled to the third highest peak on the island called Benro, and I'm going to make the relatively short climb from where I am of about 20 minutes up to the summit and position myself for sunrise, because I've got a feeling it's going to be a cracker. It's way colder than I expected it to be. The wind is so much stronger than forecast, so there's a crazy wind chill in the air. It's absolutely bitterly cold. The moment I get my fingers out from my fingerless gloves, within seconds, there's just agonizing pain in the tips of my fingers. So this is going to be a phenomenally difficult photo shoot, I feel. And this supposed easy 20-minute walk is anything but at the moment. Summit, and it was well worth the effort. It's absolutely spectacular here, stunning, but utterly savagely cold. This is going to be a very hard shoot, and I don't think I'm going to be able to spend all that much time up here, to be honest. So I'm going to quickly try and find my composition ready for sunrise, which should be in about half an hour's time. I found my first composition as well. You can see my camera settled just behind me, and what I'm interested in here are these mountains here. So I've got Snaefell, the highest mountain on the Isle of Man, and just to the right of it is North Brule, the second highest mountain on the Isle of Man, and the sun is rising out of that direction, which means these mountain summits are going to catch the light as it arrives over the horizon. I think it's going to be absolutely beautiful. But then in the foreground I've also got these rocks here that are covered in a lovely coating of snow, and I think that's going to work really well for foreground. So I think overall there's a nice balanced composition here with a lot going on in the foreground and the background to add a lot of interest right throughout the scene, and I think it's going to look absolutely stunning when this sun illuminates it, which is going to happen imminently, probably in the next minute or two. So I better put the camera down. This is what landscape photography really is all about, and yeah, I don't regret coming out today for 1 second. It's uncomfortable, it's slightly painful, but wow, it's utterly worth it. So I'm back at my camera now, and I'll talk you through my settings. Settings wise, I shot f10, 13th of a second, ISO 64, at about 30mm, and I didn't have any filters on whatsoever. This is the kind of shot that, to me, it didn't really even need filters, and it's got so much going for it that really I didn't need to add anything, and I really don't think it's going to need all that much post-processing either. It's yeah, it's a keeper, this one, I think. Taking shelter from this wind behind the mountain cairn on the top of the summit, because that wind is so savage and it's blowing right through me and freezing me to the core. It really, really is. It's so tough to do the vlogging and photography in those kind of conditions. But overall, I'm quite pleased with what I've managed to secure today. I did find a second composition, but I just could not nail it. I just couldn't. And the composition was the mountain cairn with these mountains behind me, and it worked quite nicely, but it was in an area that was very exposed to this wind, and there was just so many vibrations going through the camera and tripod that it meant getting a sharp image was pretty much impossible. Even if I bumped up the shutter speed and put vibration reduction on, it just wasn't doing the business. I just could not get the image sharp. But I'm not too disappointed. I think the first image is a very strong image, and it probably would have been better than the second one anyways. Overall, it's been a stunning morning, and it's trips like this that very much make me feel alive. Kind of sitting in an office all week, I can't explain how good it feels to come up into the mountains on a Saturday morning, watch the sunrise over the snow like this. It's absolutely stunning. But it's time to head home now. I am frozen to the core. It's so cold up here. It must have been a few degrees below zero before the sun rose, and with that wind chill, it was extremely cold. So I want to head down the mountain now, head home for some breakfast and a nice warm cup of tea. On my way back down now, I could probably do with some shades. It's got very bright now that the sun's out, very bright indeed. Overall, very happy with the trip. I think I probably could have achieved a little bit more if it wasn't for that really strong wind, but with landscape photography, you've always just got to work with what you're given, so yeah, no regrets there. One thing I did forget to mention before is on the image I did take, that's focus stacked to give me pin sharpness throughout the image. So I focused down on the rocks in the foreground, and I also focused on the mountains in the background. As always, thanks very much for watching today. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so, and if you've got any comments on the image I took and the general conditions, then drop that below. I'll be very interested to hear your thoughts, and I will see you all next week, where hopefully I've got some more of these cracking conditions. Goodbye.